Okay, beginning in Shavasana, lying on your back. Getting a sense of your body prints, your body meeting the floor. And today's class focuses on the midline. So this line that runs down the center of your body. Just kind of attuning to that. Like as if you're a big tropical leaf, that seam that runs down the middle. And then the right and the left sides of the body. Noticing your breath. Noticing what's present for you. We'll begin our movement inquiry with the feet planted about hips width apart and the arms in cactus. Elbows in line with the shoulders, arms resting on the ground. If that doesn't work for your shoulders, you can take your arms out to a T instead. And our first movement is an SI release, a sacroiliac release. The feet stay planted for this one. And we reach one knee forward. So push the right foot into the floor, send the right knee forward. See how the right hip, right side of the pelvis lifts off the ground. And then let the pelvis drop back down. And do the same thing on the other side. So it's like you're lunging your knee forward, as if it could go out past the toes. Go slow here. So the other side of the pelvis, when you're reaching through the right leg, the left side of the pelvis is relatively passive here. That side of the pelvis stays down on the ground. You might like to pause at the end range for a moment. If you want to work a little bit more, you can engage the glute of the knee you're reaching through. Same side. See how that changes your experience. Notice that the two sides of the body feel different. Rooting evenly through the foot. So as you drive the knee forward, press down through the heel, the toe mounds. Even the toes can press into the ground a little bit. But I'd say especially the heel. Knee going directly forward. And then just pause here with the feet planted. And from your cactus arms, We'll slide one arm along the floor. You might have to clear space or move a little bit. So we're sliding the arms, reaching overhead. And then slide the arm back to cactus. Do the same thing on the other side. If the arm isn't comfortable in cactus, you can reach more at a diagonal. So if you don't want to go straight overhead with the arm right alongside the ear, go a bit wider. As you reach through the arm, notice if the ribs are popping up, the front of the rib cage is popping up. We want to keep that down so that we can really isolate what's happening in the shoulders and differentiate it from what's potentially happening in the spine. See if you can reach through the elbow more than through the fingertips, and if that changes your experience at all. The arm is staying heavy as best you can, gliding along the floor. Now we're going to put the two together. So as you reach the right knee out over the right toes, slide the right arm in the opposite direction. You could try feet a little closer to sitting bones. At the end of that one, whenever it is for you, bring your hands underneath your head, the base of the skull. Through inhalation, press your arm bones into the floor and lift the lower spine away from the floor. Exhale, root through the back, root through the lower spine, lift your head, curl up, elbows open wide, and press down on the inhale. Elbows squeeze together, shoulder blades peel up off the floor on the exhale. We've been working with neutral pelvis a lot more lately, so if you would like to do it that way instead, you maintain that little gap between lower spine and the floor, and the pubic bone and the two frontal hip points stay level. Triangle table. So when you curl up, you don't press the back into the floor. If you're choosing that variation, when you curl up, draw in and up on the pelvic floor and draw the lower belly, the whole abdomen, all around the navel down toward the floor, but without rooting the lower back. We keep that lumbar curve. Adding a cranial nod. When you inhale, lift the chin away from the chest. So head back of the head slides along the hands. And then exhale, really tuck the chin down and in. When you curl up, really work the rib cage here. So ribs move toward the midline, toward your back, and down toward your waist. Adding one more variation here, diagonal reach. When you exhale, come up across the midline. You could just go barely across the midline. You could go to center first and then just tap a little bit across the midline. Make sure your hands aren't sliding up. They're still at the base of the skull. Well, the head slides with the inhalation. But then coming back to the base of the skull with the hands as you exhale. About one more round. And then release all together into Shavasana. Notice tingling, pulsing, vibration, streaming. Interlace the hands at the base of the skull once again. Just allow this time for now the arms to be heavy and passive, and we'll bring focus down to the legs for the Baddha Konasana slide, sliding outer edge of the foot along the ground. Looks kind of like tree pose when you reach your end range, and then slide the leg out straight. Alternating legs, go slow. Try initiating the movement from the knee now rather than the foot. I might put you in a slightly different position. Legs are heavy. And now adding on, we'll add what we call the side scrub. It's a side bend. So let's start with same side knee and elbow sliding toward each other. And then sliding upper body back to center and legs straight. Alternating. Head is heavy, arms are heavy. We're not lifting anything here. Oftentimes we end up lifting, well, we're just not even aware that we're lifting, or we lift because we're chasing sensation. And notice if your awareness is more drawn to the side that's elongating or the side that's compressing. You might want to adjust your breath rhythm accordingly. You could do the movement on the inhale, breathing into the side that's elongating. Or do the movement on the exhale, really focusing on the compression, the shortening side. Okay, and then same movement elements, but just going opposite now. So say left knee bends and we take a side bend to the right. Left elbow overhead. It's like the left elbow sliding away from the knee as it moves toward it. And same thing, other side. Two sides might feel totally different. Let's go about once more each side. And then eventually coming back to center. Let's pause in Shavasana. Coming back to awareness of your midline and your breath. Plant your left foot and take your left arm out to a T. Let's have the left hand palm facing down to start. And rock to the inner edge of the left foot. To swing the knee over toward the right foot. And then come back to center. I'll try that a few times. Try pushing the inner edge of the foot actively into the ground rather than being kind of passive with it. Be active with it. Engage the left glute. Reach out through the knee. Keep the left shoulder down. So knee is reaching as much toward the foot edge of your mat as it is going across the midline, or just do both. It's not one or the other. Okay, adding external rotation of left arm. So as you rock to the inner edge of the left foot, flip the left palm to face up and keep rotating the arm. Some of you can kind of pivot off of the thumb and end up with the palm facing down toward the ground again. And then as the leg comes back up to vertical, you can flip the palm all the way to face down or just pause with the palm up. Feels better. So when you externally rotate the arm, the shoulder blade kind of tucks down A lot of people get confused by this one. So if when you rotate, the shoulder lifts away from the floor, and you feel like you're kind of rounding the shoulder, like bad posture, that's internal rotation. That's not what we're doing here. So go the other way if that's what you're feeling. So the shoulder stays down on the ground, it kind of tucks down, and the chest lifts rather than kind of collapsing or hollowing. Okay, we're gonna add one more element. So the left arm is externally rotating. We're rocking to the inner edge of the left foot, and at the same time, we'll slide the right leg to Baddha Konasana. You probably want to have right arm out to a T, just so it's out of the way. You can have palm facing up or down. Once the leg comes back to vertical, the other leg slides out straight, and repeating. It's not too much to coordinate. You could also look toward the left hand as it's rotating. Active left leg, it's easy to just kind of flop it in and out, but be more intentional with the movement. One more time on this side. And then once you're back to center, take your time. We'll set up for the other side. So right foot is planted, left leg is straight. Right arm out to a T. Let's have palm down to start. Rock to the inner edge of the right foot, left leg's relaxed. Right shoulder stays down. Pushing the inner edge of the foot into the ground to help reach the knee away from you. Right hip lifts up. Try squeezing the right glute to get more hip extension. More kind of integrated, stable hip extension. Attuning to sensation. When you're ready, you can add the external rotation of right arm. So from palm down, flip palm up and keep going in that direction. So next phase would be thumb pointing down, palm facing overhead, back behind you, and then maybe you keep rotating. There's a kind of pivot off the thumb action you could do, and the palm would end up facing down again. The shoulder blade tucks down, kind of down away from the ear and in toward the chest. So it creates space potentially underneath the right side of the back. So the right shoulder blade's lifting, but the right shoulder is staying down. If the shoulder's curling up toward the ceiling, toward the chest, then you're going internally, and we're not doing that right now. It's not my suggestion anyway. So getting this spiral line potentially from the hand all the way down through the inner thigh to the knee. Perhaps turning the gaze, turning your eyes, your head to look toward the right arm as it's rotating. Go slow. So you can feel all that's arising, but also so you can implement and experiment with all the different actions available. Engagement of the glutes, the rooting of the foot, the reaching of the knee, rotation of the head, rotation of the shoulder, the arm. And then when you're ready, if you're ready, it's a lot to pile on here. We're sliding left leg to Baddha Konasana. The left leg stays heavy. You can initiate from the knee or from the foot. Different effect slightly. And try to keep the right arm at the level of the shoulder. It's common for it to kind of creep up. That might be okay, but it might kind of jam your rotator cuff. Couple more times on this side. And then eventually unfurl back into Shavasana. And notice what you notice. Okay, let's roll onto the side. You pick which side. You can use the back edge of your mat to be sure you're fully straight with no hip hinge and no forward head posture in particular. So bottom arm is your pillow, could be bent or straight at this point. And back skull and sacrum align with the back edge of your mat if you're using it. And then we'll plant the top foot just behind the bottom leg and bring the top arm alongside the ear, actually aligned. So bottom arm straight, top arm straight. If your neck's uncomfortable, put the blanket between your head and your arm, not underneath your arm. Tug on the arm to reach it overhead and root through the grounded foot. Press the foot into the floor, reach the knee away from you, and try squeezing that glute. That is heavy. Work with your breath. Release the wrist. Bring your knees in toward your chest and both arms out in front of you. So whatever arm is on top, we're going to slide that arm away from you. It outruns the bottom arm, and then keep that sense of reaching action as you bring the arm up toward the ceiling. Don't hold the head in place, let it roll as you open to twist. Reach through the arm as it comes up toward the ceiling again. Hands stack. Slide the hand forward. You might even roll onto your forehead here. If you really let the head go, that might happen. So we're going to flow in and out of this dynamic twist a few times. Take your time. The arm is actively reaching. So again, you could try to reach from the elbow rather than from the fingers. Be sure knees are at least in line with the hips. We don't want them down too far. They could be curled in more. One more time. And then once you're on your side again and your hands are stacked, straighten your top leg out in front of you. And if you want to use a belt, you can make a connection with your bottom hand. So bottom hand and top foot, maybe by way of the belt. You could also put a block under that foot. It's going to be more balancing for the sacrum. Okay, and then we're repeating that same dynamic twist. So reach, 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 top arm away from you. Keep that reaching action as you bring the arm up toward the ceiling and then back toward the floor behind you. Reach up toward the ceiling. Coming back onto your side with the arms out in front of you. So this straight leg doesn't need to be fully straight. The knee could be bent. You can apply energy through your foot into your hand or your belt, even as you're pulling on the foot a little bit with the hand or the belt. You might want to tuck the bottom knee in a little bit more so the thighs are stacked rather than that bottom knee kind of drifting further away from you. See how it feels. One more time. And then once you've unwound, straighten your bottom leg underneath your top leg. So both legs are out in front of you. Again, it need not be completely straight. That's it. So legs out in front of you rather than the length of the mat. So you're in a forward fold on your side with a hip hinge. You can see your feet out in front of you, and we're folding the torso toward the legs. Now, bottom leg can stay where it is. And if you can easily reach top foot with top hand, then you don't need the belt. But if you have difficulty reaching for this top foot with your top hand, then use your belt. We're gonna take this kind of pigeon move here that we've been doing a bit more often lately, where we draw the top knee in toward the top armpit and then re-extend your leg out in front of you. So we try to keep the shin parallel to the floor and the foot within view. Like we're trying to bring our foot back toward our ear rather than back toward the sitting bone. If you had two belts, you could have a belt around each foot to connect with the hands, or maybe your hands reach. The next time the leg extends out in front of you, you can remove the belt, bend the knees, and roll onto your back. Dropping into stillness. Sensing the two sides of the body. Notice the one that you just worked more. The one that you didn't. Sense your midline where right and left meet. Second side, rolling onto your side. You can use the back edge of your mat so it's to make sure we're not hinging at the hips, but also that we're not encouraging forward head posture. So sacrum and back skull are in line. Arms are straight. Look to plant the top foot just behind the bottom leg. And hold the top wrist with the bottom hand. That's it. Head is heavy here. Tug a little bit on your arm and drive the knee in the opposite direction. Push the foot into the floor and engage the glute. Breathe into the back. Release the wrist. Bring your arms out in front of you and your knees in toward your chest. Support your head if your neck is uncomfortable or your head doesn't reach the ground. Slide top hand away from you. Might kind of roll toward your forehead here. And then keep reaching up toward the ceiling and back behind you to spinal twist. If you're running into walls or furniture, if you've got room, adjust so you can get your full range of motion. Reaching the arm up toward the ceiling and then it lands out in front of you. Get that slide away to open the rhomboid and find your slow rhythm. Try reaching from the elbow more than from the fingers. About one more time. And then once your hands are out in front of you, straighten your top leg out in front of you. So thighs are stacked. Maybe that foot is on a block to help balance your sacrum. You could connect bottom hand with top foot. And then we resume our semicircle arm movement, head going with the movement. The top leg doesn't need to be completely straight, it could be. And you can also be active, so the foot flexed, little push pull between the foot and the hand, the belt. About one more time. And then we'll straighten both legs out in front of you. So we've got a hip hinge here. You can see your feet, just like if you were sitting, and then folding the upper body toward the legs. Now you can take your belt around your top foot, or have one around top, one around bottom. We'll draw the top leg into this pigeon or happy baby shape. That might be more make more sense in mind's eye. And then re-extend the leg out in front of you. Try to keep the shin parallel to the floor. Draw the knee back toward the armpit. And draw the foot back toward the ear. Moving with intention. All these movements we could do without really paying any attention to them. We're feeling what's arising. So feeling all that's arising. Exploring your end range with kindness rather than force. One more time. And then once you re-extend your leg out in front of you, roll onto your belly. Let's pause in this belly down shavasana. Rest your head and arms comfortably. Sensing your midline. Feeling your breath. Let's bring the left leg to Baddha Konasana. The knee is bent out to the side, sole of the foot is facing the straight leg, and just be here for a moment. You can kind of slide the knee a little further away from you if you're able. Head is heavy, relax the shoulders. Keep the leg bent out to the side, tuck straight leg, toes under. Hands to the elbows for our cobra variation. You drive the elbows into the floor, squeeze your buttocks, lift the belly and the bottom ribs away from the floor. Gaze is down. Lower the upper body down. Slide the elbows apart to stack the hands. Keep the legs as they are, so straight leg active, pushing through the heel. Other leg is bent. I'm going to add side bend here now toward the bent knee. So you have to lift your upper body a little bit and walk it into the side bend. So we pretty much already did this, yeah? We were on our back with the side scrub. And then you can rest your head or your cheek down onto your hands. Bring the upper body back to center. Slide the bent leg out straight, untuck your toes, forehead down. Feel your breath. Second side, bending the knee out to the side like tree pose. Try sliding the knee a little further away from you. Head down, shoulders relaxed. Be with your breath. Tuck straight leg toes under. Bring your hands to your elbows, elbows at least slightly in front of your shoulders. Press the elbows down. Move the shoulders down away from the ears. Push out through straight leg heel. Squeeze the glutes. Try lifting the abdominals and the bottom of the rib cage up away from the floor a bit. Gaze is down. Lowering the upper body down, and keep the legs as they are, and then we'll side bend over toward that bent knee. A little lift and shift, lift and shift. Keep the elbows wide, keep the shoulders relaxed, head down, driving through the heel, and kind of press the front of the pelvis down toward the floor. Coming back to center the upper body, slide the legs straight, untuck the toes, rest. Stretch the arms forward, joining your hands in prayer. Bend your elbows so the fingers and the forearms are vertical. And then walk your elbows back so the head and chest lift up, bringing thumb tips to inner eyebrows. Move your shoulder blades down your back. Tuck toes under. Root the front of the pelvis. Lift the front ribs. Away from the floor. And then from here, as you lower down, roll onto your back again. If you're working with a belt or scarf, towel, something, take it around your feet and the legs to vertical, just vertical for now. The belt also helps the shoulders drop down to the floor rather than rounding up toward the ceiling. Spread the toes, push through your heels. Neutral pelvis here. The pubic bone and two frontal hip points are level, they're on the same plane. That might mean taking the legs further away from you than they were. So there's a small gap between lower spine and the floor when we have neutral pelvis. Maintain that neutral pelvis and maybe bring the legs in more. So it might just be now it's a little bit more to the vertical, or the legs might come in a bit more. What I'm suggesting you don't do is let the lower back flatten into the ground and allow the sacrum to come up off the ground. So neutral pelvis instead. Okay, gently release into Shavasana. Notice what you notice. Aligning awareness to your midline. In a slow and mindful way, bend your knees, roll to your side. Either grab your mat if you're on a carpet or take your blanket off of your mat. So you have a sticky mat. So you have traction. We're going to come into downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. When you're ready, you might want to bend your knees. Pedal out your feet. Walk your feet up toward your hands and rise all the way up to standing. Let's take a wide stance, so Prasarita Padottanasana. Secure your connection to the earth through your feet. And then fold forward. Knees can be bent here. Hips stay aligned over heels. Arms reach forward. Let the head go. Lift up out of the shoulders rather than sinking into the shoulders. Kind of secure the shoulder blades down the back. Not down the back, it's more of a rotation, an outward rotation. So if hands are grounded, you can keep them grounded, but imagine you could screw them into the ground away from each other. So feel how that works in the shoulders. Walk your hands back so they're underneath your shoulders. And then bend the knees, hands to the hips, rising up. Okay, we're gonna keep our wide-legged stance. We're gonna work a bit dynamically here with rotation and head movement. So it might take a couple rounds to kind of find your rhythm. So don't worry about doing it wrong, just go slow, take your time. So we'll start with the arms out. You can have palms down or palms forward. Take a breath in here. We're gonna exhale, left hand down, right arm up. So exhale, left hand down to the ground, right arm up toward the ceiling and looking down at the left hand. I'm mirroring here. Go slow. Reach the arm forward out in front of you and look toward the hand. That's it. And then reach the arm up again and maybe look up. Catch an inhalation to rise up, arms extend out from the shoulders. That's it. So lots of stability through the legs here. Now I'll bring the right hand down, gaze is down, left arm is up. Bring the arm forward, so it's kind of alongside the ear, reaching forward, and look toward the hand. So like you're reaching, if your screen is out in front of you, you're reaching the arm forward toward the screen and looking that way. And then bring the arm back up and look up. Maybe bending the knees a lot to rise all the way up, arms stretch out at the T. Good, here we go. Left hand down, gaze is down, right arm is up. Bring the arm alongside the ear out in front of you and look forward. That's it. Then reach up and look up. Rise up to center. Right hand down, gaze is down, left arm is up. Reach forward, look forward. That's it. Reach up, look up. And rise up. One more time. Left hand down, gaze down, right arm up. Reach forward, look forward. Reach up, look up. And rise up. Right hand down, gaze down, left arm up. Reach forward, look forward. Reach up, look up. And then rise up. Excellent. We'll release the arms down and heel toe feet together underneath your body. Okay, we're gonna work a little bit with balance, starting with tree pose or vrikshasana. So weight in the left leg, coming up first onto the right toes, and then turning the knee out to the side. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe the foot slides along the ground, staying on the ground and now also connecting to the leg. Maybe the foot rises up away from the floor. So keep your hips pointing forward, the knee drawing back. Hands can stay on hips. Maybe they come to prayer. Maybe they reach up. Rooting through the standing leg and rising up through your spine. Engaging buttocks is probably going to help stabilize. Calmly coming back to mountain. Securing your connection to the earth through your second side, through your right foot, if you're mirroring me. Coming up onto left toes. Turning the knee out to the side. Foot can stay connected to floor and leg, or can rise up off the floor. Be sure this hip isn't popping out, but we've got it underneath the frame. Hips are pointing forward, knee is drawing back. Maybe hands come to prayer or reach up. Squeeze buttocks, root and rise. And calmly coming back to mountain. Okay, just one more standing balance pose. It's a standing figure 4. So really securing left foot into the ground, rooting down, drawing upward. Bring your right knee up and then externally rotate. So open the knee out to the side, placing the ankle just below the knee. That foot's flexed. You can draw the knee back, but keep the hips facing forward. And then option to add a chair element. It usually makes it a little easier to balance, I think anyway. So the hips go back and down. Torso comes forward. We have a hip hinge. Back of the head's in line with the sacrum. Maybe hands to heart center. Couple more breaths. So you're going to be kind of surfing on the standing foot. There's definitely movement. Like I'm wobbling, but kind of riding the wave. Okay, and then take your time here, rising up, touching center, mountain pose. Spreading through the toes of the foot you're going to balance on. Be sure you're connected through inner, outer, front, back of the foot. Bring the knee up. Open the knee out to the side. Place the ankle just below the knee. Just above the knee, I mean. So we're drawing this knee back. That's going to help stabilize. And the aerial foot is flexed. See what it feels like to send the hips back, hip hinge, chair pose essentially. The back skull and the sacrum are still aligned, maybe hands to heart center. Balance is not static in a way, so we have to be okay with kind of losing a little connection and coming back to it. When you're ready, take your time. Nice. Coming back to mountain pose. Okay. Let's just have a seat. No fancy way to get there. Sit in Dandasana, the legs out in front. Let's have feet hip width apart and hands alongside the hips. Flexing the feet. Knees can be bent if need be, or we're pressing the thighs down, sitting up tall. From here, bring your arms up alongside your ears. And try to keep this line of energy, this kind of straight line from the sacrum through the back skull, all the way up to the fingertips as you hinge at the hips. So we're not rounding the spine, the head's not coming forward, the arms aren't coming down, not yet. Energy through the legs, through the heels. And then when you feel like that's it, just bring the hands down. Let's keep the chest lifted and the back skull drawing a little bit back and chin a little bit down. A few more breaths. So if hands are on the ground, it's more active range of motion. When you start pulling on your feet, now we're going more into passive range of motion. Rising up. Okay, Marichi's twist. Might want to sit on the edge of something for this one. Let's draw right heel in close to the right sitting bone. Left leg is active, sitting up tall. And then turning through the belly, walking your right hand back behind you. You can just wrap your hand around the leg, around the outer knee. That's it. Keep pressing right foot down. Crown of the head rising up. Turning from your center. Gently, slowly unwind. Extending right leg out in front. Draw left heel in close to the left sitting bone. Right toes stay pointing up. Press the left foot down and draw upward from root to crown. And bring your left hand behind you. Your right hand can just kind of wrap a little bit around the shoulder, around the knee. Walk the left hand back behind you. So this left shoulder goes back and down. Keep pressing left foot down. Turning from your center, from your abdominals, through the ribs, the spine. Gently unwind back to center. Extend the leg out, Dandasana. And then from here, we're coming into pigeon. So if you'd rather take it onto your back in a figure four, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, we're on all fours. We'll start with the left leg forward first. So left knee up toward left hand. Maybe left foot up toward right hand. Walking the right leg back. Let's prioritize level hips over, look how far I can get the left foot up toward the top edge of the mat. So maybe putting something underneath left sitting bone and left thigh to help you balance out. And then we'll come down onto the forearms. Be active here still through the legs. Press your left lower leg into the ground from the knee all the way to the foot. You can also press the top of the right foot into the ground or keep the right toes tucked. Let's keep the chest lifted and the head in line with the spine. Push the left lower leg down to come up onto your hands. And then walk your right knee in a little bit and come back to all fours. If you're on your back, you're switching sides that way. The right leg up toward the top of the mat, knee in line with right hand. Right foot in line with left hip, even if the foot's not way up toward the front edge of your mat. Try to level your pelvis here. Maybe put a block or blanket, bolster would be better than a block underneath your right thigh and right sitting bone. Coming down onto the forearms, but staying lifted and open in the chest. And head in line with the sacrum. Gaze is down. Staying active through the legs. Rooting down through the right leg, the lower leg, from the knee all the way to the foot. So right foot is flexed. And press top of the left foot down or have the toes tucked and push through the heel. Breathe into your back. Press more through the right lower leg to come up onto your hands. Kind of scoot your left knee in a little bit, coming back to all fours. And then come onto your back. You can take knees into chest or a little happy baby just to come back to center here before Shavasana. So whenever you're ready, extending your legs, feet a little wider than your hips. Lengthen your spine away from your pelvis. Relax your jaw. Remove eyeglasses. Make any adjustments. Make sure you're warm enough here to rest in stillness. Coming back into the river of breath. Becoming aware of your body once again, your midline, your central channel. Breath. Take your time if you feel ready, gradually returning to a seat. May the benefits of our practice travel far and wide. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all beings be healthy and safe. May all beings be peaceful and at ease. May all beings find freedom from suffering. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste.